All right, this video is for someone that's thinking of buying one of these radios. It's also for someone that might have started working on it on one of these and then got stuck. And my process is different than other people. I don't do a bunch of videos and then edit them together and leave stuff out. I actually tell you what I'm running into as I'm going along. Now, the last video, I showed you how I did the recap of the cans. There's these metal cans that have oil in them, and there's three capacitors in each. And I left them in the radio, and I showed you how I made um, an assembly using a ground lug. So now I'm working on the audio output section. The audio output tube's working. The pre-driver is wackadoodle. So I found a bad capacitor that didn't fix it. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, they probably have a voltage chart thing, and they do. So you go up and you look at the tube socket, and it tells you what voltage you should get on each pin when the radio's on, and the knobs are at a certain position. So the pre-driver is wacky in the fact that the cathode resistor, normally they're 10 ohms, 5 ohms, it's 15K. And the reason is the pre-driver for the audio output, besides amplifying the audio for the output, it is the AVC. So they float it. So it's not an RCA type pattern. It's not like the BC348s. So I realize, looking at the schematic, there's a wafer switch involved. There's a dual gang resistor involved, which is the output level. They call it OL. So this radio is not like other radios, and it's Navy nonsense. All right, so here I'm going to give you some Navy nonsense. You look at the schematic, and instead of having values or like a part number and then a value, it has just a part number. So you go look the part number up. So we'll say C405. Okay, so we go look at the long list of parts in just the resistor section, and we're scrolling. So we find C405, and then there's plenty of room there. But what do they say? C. They want you to see, not as in C the capacitor. C part number C305, and you go look, and there's the value. You got to scroll, and they do that with almost all the parts in the output stage. The resistors in the output stage and the pre-driver stage for the audio is similar to the other section. So somebody got this bright idea. Instead of just, they have plenty of space there, put the damn value there. Don't make me have to go look at another part number to get the value. That's what they did. But this radio, I'll put it down at very hard to work on. It's just the schematic annoyances. Now you could take the schematic and zoom in, depending on what program you're using for the PDF, and then you print out, and then go over to the parts section, and then put the values on the schematic. Now, in my case right now, using the voltage thing, the screen is okay. It's 200 volts instead of 175. That's close. But what sticks out real quick is the plate is 200 volts, and on some radios that would be no problem. The screen and volt 200 on the plate, 200 on the screen on any other radio, no problem. This is supposed to be at 97, so I know that tube is not turned on. First of all, I know the pre amplifier is not turned on because it's not amplifying. And I did find a bad capacitor that didn't fix it. So now I have to go through and play the same as on the parts list, and go through and check each one of the resistors. I'll be doing voltage checks first, following down, because the volume control or the output level control. One side of it has ground, and then the other side goes through a resistor up to the B plus. That's the first thing I check to make sure that my output level control has the voltages on it. So when you turn it, it actually adjusts the screen of the tube, and it also touches the cathode a little bit. And that's not a normal circuit. That's what I'm dealing with right now. But I didn't want to just recap this radio because it has a lot of different values. And when you order parts, a lot of places want to sell you 5 at a time, 10 at a time. So I'm looking at the price for this radio, and I'm like, all right, this radio is supposed to keep me busy. It's not supposed to bankrupt me. And I'm making a lot of decisions based on the fact that I really don't like the radio. It's to keep me busy. But as I go along, I'll let you know how wacky this thing really is. And if you've never worked on a radio that's this hard before, you'll be underwater. I'm underwater right now. I know I'm underwater. Or I'm in over my head. Let's put it that way. I have to go step by step through the circuit trying to find something that might be open. And it could be the wafer switch. Wafer switch does not look good. It's never been used, this radio, but the wafer switch is oxidized. It might be just cleaning it. I showed you that. You use an eraser. I have the eraser. I don't spray any of my wafer switches on my radios. I clean them with an eraser, and I'll put a little lubricant in there. I do not use Deox. I'm telling you that. If you've missed my other videos, I've had radios where people sprayed basically it would be the band switch so many times the contacts turned jet black, and it took me several days, little at a time, cleaning the contacts to get that radio back up and working. But you got to realize the radio is 80 years old, and this is not a standard design. This is not an RCA. RCA did a lot of designs for the government for World War II. So that's what I want to tell you, because there are people that do these radios, and they edit the videos, and they're just glossing over everything. I'm telling you right now, you'll find that same as in the parts a pain in the ass. PITA, pain in the ass. That's what this video is about. I just want to warn you. So if you haven't bought one of these, go with a BC348. And I noticed they're going up in price. And this other guy did a video on one of them, and it's a content video. It's not really going to help you. He said some things that were wrong, and that's what I'm redoing this video over because I wanted to emphasize the fact that the pre-driver for the audio output, the cathode resistor is 15K. And it's never, most radios, the cathode resistor is never that high. And that's because that section, that preamp section, is doing dual purpose. It's doing the automatic volume control, and it's a preamp for the output too. So it's not a standard circuit. If you're talking block circuits, in other words, black box. When we went to tech school, in other words, the guy would draw a box up on the drawing on the chalkboard, and he'd show ground lead, positive lead, input, output, and then he'd say, this is the signal going in to the black box, and this is what's coming out, what's inside. So in this case, the black box is a special amplifier that makes the AVC signal control the output. And that's what you want. You want, when the station's fading in and out, you want the circuit to hold the volume steady so it doesn't make you nuts. But anyway, that's where I'm at now, and I'm taking a break. And I stop and I do these videos. Then I'll look at the schematic, and the schematic's it's really annoying to look at a schematic and see only part numbers and not values, because when you see a capacitor in a schematic and you see the part number, you might go, let me check that, and it turns out to be it's like a a 900 picofarad capacitor, and they very rarely go bad. They do go bad, but in other words, you're trying to figure out if this part went bad, that's why the voltage is. Well, you can't do that without making a printout of the schematic and then going and putting the part values on the schematic so you can get an idea what part or what section is bad. I have to do this a different way, and I can adapt, but I just wanted to warn you. This thing is to keep me busy, and it is keeping me busy. Now, right now outside it's real windy, and that's one of the things in retirement I want to tell you about. It's going to be the weather. There are other things that you don't think about for retirement. The weather, you won't think about the weather when you're getting ready to retire because you grew up with the weather. And the old saying, everybody talks about the weather, but nobody can do anything about it. Well, when you're working, you're looking for the weekend, and then you might want to go fishing or golf or whatever, and you get bad weather and you're screwed. You worked all week long, the weather's crappy. Well, when you're retired, you technically you have every day off, but the weather's going to get you. And then if you get 3 days of rain, it's brutal. See, when you're at work and you're working and you have 3 days of rain straight, yeah, when you go out to your car at 4 o'clock, you're like, oh, it's still raining. You got to sit there in your house when you're retired and watch it rain. Yeah, you could shoot off to the shopping mall or something like that. But basically, most hobbies somehow are connected to the outside. Like even if you're a painter, you want to go out to this hill and do a landscape. You can't do it because it's raining out. And there are going to be people that, well, where I live, it don't rain that much. We got really good weather. Well, if you follow the news, most of those states that had really good weather are getting destroyed. Then they don't have normal weather anymore. Uh, I mean, years ago, they called California shake and bake, and now it's just brutal out there. The taxes and all that. And Florida is all messed up with weather. When I was coming out here, everybody said I was stupid because I didn't go to North Carolina or Tennessee. Now those places are having serious problems. See, this place here, the weather's not like it used to be. You talk to the old timers here in Lancaster, PA. They say this isn't normal weather. See, they used to get more days of rain than Seattle, and you'd say, how could that be? Yeah, but they would get more sunny days. See, Seattle gets more rainy days, but less sunshine. Where out here, you got really good sunshine. The crops grow really good. Most crops they grow out here, they don't even water them. There's enough rain for them. Now, we're sort of running a drought here. Last summer was the 5th hottest summer since I've been here. It's just, everything turns around. But the retirement, the weather is going to be a big thing. And it's not something you're going to think about. I won't go into all the other things that pop up. They don't tell you about, because what you see watching television and talking to people mostly has to do with money and product. And someone's trying to sell you something. So they're not going to tell you what you're going to really see. I don't want to go into it. I can do a rant on retirement. Officially, I'm retired 10 years. I was semi-retired from the age of 37. And I don't mean on welfare. I became a writer. I wrote booklets. I had a web page. I was trying everything, and I was getting by until the 15 years ago when the economy collapsed, and I had to make a quick decision, and I sold my house in New Jersey and moved out here. All right, I think that's it. All right, that's it.